Welcome back to the Astronomy Online Lab Success Tutorial. Now we're going to start with the second part. And at the end of part 1, we left off on the content page of the Math Review Lab module. We got here from the Content tab on the course navbar. We will now continue to look at the links in this lab module with support materials, the discussion question link for your participation score, and the lab quiz link to submit the answers you will work out for the questions in the lab textbook. Most lab modules will have these items in the same order, so we can look at this one. Last time we looked at the general information and the recordings, the live recordings of the lab help sessions. Now, besides the live help session recordings, most labs will have a lab intro file with background information for this particular lab and verbal question hints. We can use, this one opened in a separate page, so we still have the lab intro math review on the other tab. We can just close this tab and then use the breadcrumbs or the browser back button to get back to the Lab 1 math review content page. Once we're back and scroll down further, we see hint slides for selected questions of the math review. These are annotated slides, which are whiteboard slides that were created in the live help sessions from the recordings. Slides like this are available for a lot of the labs. And we can use the breadcrumbs to go back to the lab review content page. Further down are the links to the discussion question, also known as DQ, that is required for your participation score, and the lab help topic on the discussion board titled Lab 1 Math Review. Posting to the lab help topic is not required, but strongly recommended if you get stuck or need clarification on anything. You're welcome to post about individual lab questions you need help with. You should have already posted your personal intro for DQ1 introductions, so you have an idea how the discussion board works, and we don't have to cover this now. If you still have questions, send me an email with iCollege email. The iCollege email can be found in the global nav bar, and it shows the emails from all of your courses. Scrolling back down, below the DQ link for the participation score and the lab help topic link on the discussion board, you find the direct link to the math review lab quiz. By now you have already taken the no-show quiz and the syllabus consent quiz, so you have a rough idea how the quiz tool works. You can also access the lab quizzes directly from the quizzes tab in the course navbar, which is right here. Scrolling back down to the direct link for the Math Review Lab quiz on the Math Review Lab module content page. All other lab quiz-based labs will have another quiz link, which is for the pre-lab quiz that is associated with that lab. Be sure to work out and submit those too. They are part of your lab score. The math review is the only lab that does not come with a pre-lab. I want to remind you here that the pre-lab and lab quizzes are not quizzes in the sense of tests or exams. I'm just using the functionality of iCollege Quiz Tool as an efficient way for you to submit the answers to the lab questions from the lab textbook to me, and for me to give you feedback on your answers to individual lab questions. After grading your submission, you will be able to view the graded attempt, including my feedback and the official answers. This will be the most important study tool for the lab midterm and lab final exams. Since the pre-labs and labs are formative, in the sense that you are learning the concepts and procedures while you're working them out, I have set them up to remain open for 24 hours and for unlimited attempts. This way you can open an attempt, answer a few questions, save those answers, exit without submitting, and come back later to answer more questions or finish it up. Even if you go over the 24 hours, you will still be able to go back in and continue working out the questions. If you need to leave the lab quiz in the middle, make sure you save the answers you already have typed in. But once you click Submit, you will not be able to go back into the submitted attempt, and it will show up on my side ready to be graded. Here is what the unlimited attempts mean. You can only submit multiple attempts before you have received a grade for a lab or pre-lab quiz. The unlimited attempts setting exists in case you've already submitted an attempt, but then you realize you made a mistake and you want to submit the improved version for grading, or in case you weren't finished but accidentally hit submit and you want to submit a fully completed attempt for grading. I cannot accept another attempt after a lab or pre-lab is graded, because once graded, you can view the graded attempt, including my feedback and the official answers. That is why I want to encourage you to start working on the labs a week before they are due, so you have plenty of time to use all the resources available to you and to run by me any of the answers you're not so sure about or any other issues you're confused about before you enter them into the lab or pre-lab quiz in iCollege. Finally, many lab modules will have optional links, as has this one, to helpful websites where you can review or practice some of the concepts or calculations that you will work with in the lab procedures. Before the end of this tutorial, I want to show you the resources page that is posted in most of the lab modules. Now, there is no resources page posted in the Math Review lab, but most of the other labs will have one. So let's go ahead and click on Lab 2, Light and Spectra. Please note that this Lab 2, Light and Spectra, is part of the sample iCollege section that I'm using here for this tutorial. Whatever is listed as Lab 2 in your current lab section may be different. I'm only opening this lab module to point out the resources file. Which is posted right here. And the resources file in your particular labs will be named Resources followed by the name of the actual lab. These resources files contain more specific question hints, worked out examples, alternate images, graphs, chats or chat transcripts, and data sets that you can use if the intended ones don't work. And this lab here, if we scroll below the DQ for this lab and the lab help topic from the discussion board for this lab, you see that it has a link to a pre-lab quiz in addition to the link for the lab quiz. I don't mind repeating myself for the umpteenth time. Your chances of succeeding in this class are very high as long as you start working out the labs with enough time before the due date. This enables you to go through all available resources, and it allows for you and for your questions, so for you to post your questions and for your questions to be answered. In addition to the resources posted in the lab content modules and the opportunity for you to post your questions to the discussion board or send me an email about them or run your answers by me before you enter them into the lab quiz or pre-lab quizzes, I am also available to meet with you live, either online with the Blackboard conferencing app that is built into iCollege, into the important course resources module. So it's the first link in the important course resources content module. Or we can meet on Clarkson campus in my husband's office at a date and time that fits both of our schedules. If you go back to the course home page and scroll down to the instructor and course info, you will see the information on where my husband's office is located on Clarkson campus and how to get to it. Just send me an email. I'm looking forward to hearing from you.